Ooh, what's going on there? Hey. Hi, everybody. We're going to be live in a minute. With Alexis Glick. Let's see. Hi, Gigi. Hi, sweetie. So today we are going live with my friend Alexis Glick, who's a finance expert. She's the former host of the Today Show as well as Squawk Box. I'm just waiting for her to join so I can patch her in. She's having issues getting into her Instagram, but no worries. So happy to talk to everybody. Hi, everybody. Happy Giving Tuesday. So we're here to talk about what we all want you to learn about, which is Gen Youth and the incredible work that they've done on the front lines of feeding school children. Over 30 million kids rely on in-school meals for their daily nutrition because 98% of schools are closed. So Gen Youth is on the front lines of getting food and supplies to these children and their families, which is so amazing. I don't see her yet. Alexis, where are you? She's coming soon. Hi, everybody. Love your glasses. Aren't they fun? They're made by Caddis, Caddis. I think I should work for this company. I'd probably sell a lot of glasses. Everybody's well here in the Cuomo household. Mario is fully recovered. Oh, good. Okay, so let's see. Alexis, where are you? I don't see her yet. Karina. Hi, everybody. Just waiting for Alexis Glick to join us, CEO of Gen Youth. Hi. Hi, Florida. Taco Tuesday, indeed. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hi. Someone's on the line from the Cayman Islands. Hello. Hi. Okay, I'm waiting for Alexis. Ooh, someone just said they bought Dr. Lancaster's book. Great. Hello, aloha from Kauai. Oh my God, that's great. We have someone from Kauai. Oh, there she is. Hi, Alexis. So you have to request to join my live. Let me see. Hello. Hi, live video. No. Go live with Alexis. Okay. I'm requesting you. Here we go. Waiting on this beauty. There she is. Okay, great.
How are you? I am so sorry. Forgive me. Technical difficulties.
No, I know. I know. It takes a village, right?
It certainly does. You are so wonderful and so patient. It has been the most unbelievable day, but being with you is the joy of my day.
Well, it's a beautiful day for us here out in Long Island, which is so nice because we've had so much rain. But everyone's here to hear all about you and what you're doing with Gen Youth. So I gave a little overview of kind of your career as a financial expert. You're one of the first managers of a big investment firm on the floor of the stock exchange. Like, you're really quite an impressive mother of four, no less. And today we are going to talk about Gen Youth and talk about how to raise some money for this amazing organization that you run. So tell us a little bit about it. How old is it? And all the efforts behind feeding school children right now.
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so crazy about you, and I just want folks who are listening, like right now and watching us, that I've been begging and pleading you and your lovely husband for help, because you know me from my past life. I think I've known you guys since Bella and my pumpkins. And it's wild to me that it's been, you know, almost 17, 18 years, but I've leaned on you guys for inspiration and help at a time that I can use all the help I can get. But yes, importantly, I've been a jack of all trades, a master of none. But I did spend a big part of my life on Wall Street and in media, on television as well. But over the last decade, what I've been doing is a passion project of mine, and that is just making sure that no kid goes hungry, and that we support this next generation by giving them the time, talent, and treasure and resources that they need to succeed. But in particular, around COVID-19, it has been like nothing I've ever witnessed before. And as a mom of 4 kids, I think I've been telling you over the last 7 weeks that I sleep well normally. And in the last 7 weeks, I am not sleeping well, just wondering every night, am I doing enough? And that's because school buildings across the United States are ground zero for 30 million kids who rely on school meals daily. And one of the big misnomers that we keep hearing about is this notion that, oh, schools are closed in the United States. And the truth of the matter is 124,000 US schools are closed for learning, but 98,000 US public schools are schools that remain open every single day to feed those 30 million kids who rely on meals daily. And now, Christina, because of so many people have been unemployed, it is now millions more. So I would just say to you, and I'm just so excited about spending this hour with you, that the truth in America is that the majority of our kids need some degree of government support at the federal level, and where they get their food, their lifeline, is the school building.
So you have more and more families signing up for your program, and it's nationwide. What's important to note is that Gen Youth has been doing this for a decade.
Yes, exactly. We every day in America prior to COVID-19, we support 40 million kids in 80,000 schools. So there's 98,000 US public schools. So we're in about 80% of the school buildings. And in this case, what we just did when we saw Seattle go shelter in place, we immediately knew, Christina, that the risk to shutting school buildings down, you know, would be catastrophic, which is why so many different states and municipalities took so much time thinking about whether or not we should close school buildings, because the reality is in every zip code in the nation, which is where we live and breathe, there are kids in your communities who go to those school buildings because it is where they get their daily nutrition. And so we knew when this happened that the most critical thing we could address were 2 issues. One, making sure that our frontline workers, who are the school nutrition professionals, who are the school bus drivers, the volunteers, you know, the cafeteria lady who put food on your plate, you know, when you were growing up, that we get them the resources that they need to deliver vital meals daily. And those resources are things like the equipment to take food that's delivered into the cafeteria and bring it out to a parking lot for a grab and go, or bring it to a school bus so that it can be delivered in a non-congregating way. So what we did is we opened up our grant portal, which is available to all schools across the United States, and we've allowed all school buildings to apply for up to $3,000 to get that equipment and the protective equipment and the sanitary equipment that they need for their frontline workers to be safe, so that we can get those meals to kids.
So what's so important is, as your numbers keep going up, and summer comes around the corner, these kids will still need this daily nutrition and this effort that Gen Youth has embarked on. Now, can you talk a little bit about how that continues on and how important that is too, and why right now for all of our viewers, we have teachers on, we have tons of parents watching. Why is that so important?
So, you know, I think what I would just say, first of all, to the teachers, Mwah, mwah. I love you. I just wrote a big piece for NBC News talking about we have not paid our teachers enough. And as a mom of four who's been doing homeschool learning, I've been a little crazy. I'm pretending to look normal right now, but I'm really a mess. Um,
I
okay,
know I
so
washed my hair for the first time today in a long
oh,
time.
oh my God. Let me, yeah, I've been just putting, I've been, we'll talk tips later on wellness, but one of the tips I've learned from being in TV for a decade is you put eyeshadow all over the grays to cover up. So that's a
Oh,
whole
that's
other story.
smart.
I'm going to give you some tips. Okay. So most importantly, here's the deal. So a lot of people think, oh, well, school is going to end. The school season, the school year is almost over. The answer is no. School buildings, and right now it's 9 out of 10 US school buildings remain open to feed kids. But the reality is those school buildings will convert into summer feeding sites. Right now, the degree of need is the greatest that we have seen, not just since the Great Recession, truly from the Great Depression. When we entered into the pandemic, 1 in 6 kids in America was food insecure. Right now, that is
Wow.
close to 1 in 4. It is shocking.
Wow.
So the truth of the matter is, Christina, that school buildings will need to remain open. They'll convert into summer feeding sites. And the most important thing, we have an MOU. We work very closely with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which oversees school meals. We work with Health and Human Services and CDC and Department of Education. One of the things that we started to get intel on several weeks ago is that the recommendation by CDC when our kids return back into school in the fall is that we don't feed them through the cafeteria. That in fact, what we do is we start to deliver meals into the classroom so that once again, we prevent too much congregation. So when you think about the kinds of equipment and resources, whether it's those coolers that we talked about earlier or the grab and go containers, that type of equipment is going to be so critical to these school buildings, not just today, not just this summer, but as we head into the next school year, because that is going to be the means by which we get meals from the cafeteria out into the classroom. And today, as you know, into whether it's parking lots, whether it's school bus stops, etc.
Can you talk a little bit about, I posted how $15 is sort of the magic number, $15 to text schools, capital schools, CHSCHOOLS, all caps, to the number 20222. You make a one-time donation of $15, and obviously don't forget to confirm your donation when prompted to do so. But can you talk a little bit about where that $15 collectively goes and what the numbers look like?
Great. Well, first and foremost, so thank you for saying that, because you can literally, anyone could text schools, to your point, 20222. It's a one-time donation for $15. You just have to confirm it once you've texted it to 20222. It can be uppercase, it can be lowercase, just as long as you type
Oh,
school,
okay.
you'll be
Okay.
my best friend on the whole planet if you do it. And I would love for us to create a movement on this Instagram live with you where we just rock the house. But here's the deal. $15 can impact not only, a lot of folks say, oh, well, is meal $1? Let me give you a sense of federal reimbursable meals. When you look at a federal reimbursable lunch or federal reimbursable breakfast, you're talking about those meals a year are about $2.50 for a lunch and about $1.50 for a breakfast, right? But in today's
Mm-hmm.
environment, the average school building is serving 1,561 meals a day. 1,561 meals a day.
Wow.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to give schools, we're allowing them to apply for up to $3,000, but at a minimum, what we're trying to do is to give them a couple $1,000 so that they can get that equipment, that they can then change, as I said, the delivery mechanism of those meals. So the more we can get these $15 donations, they add up. And at the end of the day, the thing that we love about the resource we're giving them is it is a resource that is sustainable. I think folks sometimes think that the only issue is the food. But in school buildings, the federal government and the state government, those are programs that are supported by the federal government. They are reimbursed at the state level. So it's not the meals. The meals get to the cafeteria. It's getting the meals to the kids. Now, however, I will be honest, because as I said to you before, it's 30 million kids who rely on those meals. But now, with 30 million who have filed for jobless claims, it's now millions more who are going to school buildings. So what we're finding is that all of the folks that I work with on the ground in school buildings, none of us are going to turn away a family in need. It's unconscionable to even think about it. So yes, are there more taxes on the food that is supplied into the school building from the federal and state level? Yes, there it is under more pressure than ever. Think about the notion of 1,561 meals a day on average.
Wow.
And many school buildings are trying to provide enough meals, not just for the day, but in some cases, they're trying to package meals for a week.
And are they going beyond the children? Are they feeding families? Have you
They
found
are
that
100%.
entire
Because
families are coming?
exactly, because no one in good conscience can look yourself in the eye and say, we're not gonna feed this family in need. It's been so sobering, Christina, to hear the stories on the ground. I think I was telling your husband the other day, and I think I spoke to you that night after I was on air with him, because you guys are such good souls. I was just having this day last Thursday where I was just down. I was just having a hard time getting out of bed, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not allowed to be tired. I
No.
know that I'm fighting for it, but I can't, because imagine what it's like being in a school building every day. And if the average school building in the United States supports 550 kids, some of these school buildings support 2,000. Imagine now
Oh
it's
my
not just
God.
2,000 kids. Now it's 5,000 people coming in a building. It's not 2,000 kids anymore. Imagine that. I mean, just think about the notion. It's it's just hard to comprehend. I mean, we have school bus drivers who are dressing up in costumes to deliver food to kids to give
Oh
them
my
hope.
goodness. Oh.
That's the amazing thing. I've heard so many beautiful stories about the frontline workers in hospitals and storing, shelves at grocery stores. But these
What
people,
about those kids who can't get to the schools?
so what we do about here's what we've done. I'll tell you a couple different things. Number one, you think that the natural thing is that people go to the school building where they go to school every day, and that's where they go to get their food. It's not always the case, because when you remain shelter in place, sometimes the easiest or closest school building is actually in a closer radius to you than it normally is, because you were normally going to a school building where maybe one or both of your parents worked. So number one, we created a resource locator with SAP, one of the largest technology companies, where any family can essentially log on. It's called sap.com/SAP for kids, number four sign. So SAP number four kids.
Mhm.
It's actually on our website too. So you can look at it at
And will
genyouthnow.org.
you tell everybody your web address too?
Yeah, so our website is genyouthnow.org. So it's GENYOUTHNOW.org. The idea is that you go into this web application, this SAP for Kids application that we created. It automatically knows where you're located, so it geo-targets based on where you are using Google Maps. Or you can type in your zip code, and it gives you the 30,000 nearest school feeding sites to you, so that you know exactly where to go right in your community. The
So if
second
you can't donate online, if you can't donate on your phone, because someone in Canada tried to do it and they said that it
Oh,
wasn't
the text. Yeah. So if exactly. So if they're having a problem right now doing the text of schools to 20222, then they can go to our website, which is genyouthnow.org, O-R-G. So once again, GENYOUTHNOW.org. And if you want /donate, we'll take you directly to the donate button. But thank you for my friends in Canada who are helping me. You're gonna make me so emotional. But I'm just saying, like, every dollar makes a difference. But Christina, going back to your point about families some of which you can't get there. So when we opened this COVID-19 emergency school nutrition fund, which we opened 5 weeks ago, I joined your husband on the Tuesday night that we launched the fund. It was 24 hours after we launched it. We had done no press. We hadn't talked about it at all. I joined him and launched the fund. In 4 days, I had over 5,000 school buildings requesting $15 million in grants. Today,
Wow.
I have over 11,000 school buildings requesting over $30 million in funds.
Oh my goodness.
And let me tell you something. When you look at a map of the United States, a lot of people have been looking at these COVID-19 maps. When you look at our heat map of grant requests from every zip code across the nation, it looks like a COVID-19 heat map. It's scary how it's replicating where hotspots exist. But here's the thing that's so remarkable. When you look at that 31 million, or give or take, that we have now in grant requests, 2/3 of that are coming from rural and suburban school districts. So to your point earlier, what if families can't get there? That is where school bus drivers are doing God's work. They're truly going to the home and the community to deliver those meals. That is one of the biggest issues that folks are not talking an awful lot about. It's not as much the urban. Everyone has need, believe me, but it's those rural and suburban areas where access and opportunity are a huge issue.
So $30 million is the need right now. Are you getting funded from outside sources, corporations? They're all participating?
Yeah. So I'm like, let me tell you, I have no shame.
A lot of work.
I've asked for everything humanly possible. Let me see, like today I've been on the call with like Forrest Whitaker and Derek Jeter, and like I'm calling celebs.
To get them to talk about it or to donate?
So, you know, a little bit of everything. So in terms of businesses, to your point, we have had probably at this point about half a dozen. We've provided north of $5 million in resources thus far. And so each week we're trying to approve another 500 applications for upwards of $1 million a week. But the kinds of institutions that have supported us, I mean, we've had PayPal, RBC Capital, we've had United Healthcare, we've had SAP, we've had, you know, a variety. The NFL has supported us. I mean,
someone said to call Oprah.
Can someone connect me to Oprah, please? If anyone knows how I can talk to Oprah, please, I would love to talk to Oprah, because I know she would care so much about this. And I don't think
the point is that every penny counts. A $15 donation from everybody watching this live video, what a difference that makes. And you can literally support an entire school. What does it cost to support an entire school for a week, Alexis?
So basically, so what we're doing, so imagine that if that $2,000 grant, okay, that gets the equipment to that school building, that will enable them at a minimum to serve at least 90,000 meals over the next 3 months.
Amazing.
I mean, it's just extraordinary. And I would just say, anyone who's listening right now, I mean, let me just tell you, in case anybody like, hi, over here, I'm gonna give you my.
Can you talk about where to donate again? The text and the website. People are asking.
Okay, good.
Again.
Okay, so 3 things, and then I'm going to give you my email, because anyone who wants to email me, I want to talk to you, because I love you for thinking about me and caring about this, because it's about, like, I don't know, I'm a mom of 4 kids, and I can't wake up in the morning and not wake up wondering, like, oh my God, what if I couldn't feed my kid? Okay, so number 1, you can text schools to 20222. And when you text schools, and it can be uppercase, lowercase, when you text it to 20222,
you type in 20222 and you type in the word schools. Exactly. And then automatically $15.
Yes, exactly. Automatically $15 will appear. You'll get a text message back right away. The text message will confirm that you are making a $15 contribution to Gen Youth. You simply have to confirm the text message and it'll be automatically deducted from your cell phone bill. It's pretty simple. So that's number one. If for some reason you're not in the States and you can't do the, texting of 20222 to schools, then you can go to our website, which is genyouthnow.org. And once you're on our website, there's a donate as soon as you join.
So if you want to donate more than the $15 that will transfer over the phone, you go to the website, which is genyouthnow.org. A lot of people are asking about what if they want to donate more. And what about volunteering? We have a healthcare worker in San Francisco asking about how, God bless you, asking about how can they help get food to the families who can't get to school.
You're so, I'm just blown away. First of all, thank you for asking that. What I would tell you is that in your local community, every school building right now is taking volunteers. In most cases, they need folks to be standing outside the school building, helping either deliver those meals right in a parking lot or, as I shared before, in a non-congregating fashion. But what we can do, and I'll give you my email address as well for you guys to email me, but we can connect you with our local school districts where if they need help for meal delivery, to your point, to a family or a kid who is not near that school building, we can try and connect you directly. So my personal email is alexis.glick, and it's at genyouthnow.org. So it's
Alexis, ALEXIS.Glick, GLICK.
Exactly, at genyouthnow, and it's GENYOUTHNOW.org. Email me. I mean, I would just say, Christina, right now, what I need, I jokingly say to folks, it's like time, talent, and treasure. I need, obviously the funds and resources to help support our COVID-19 Emergency School Nutrition Fund is number one. Number two, I just want folks to be a part of this campaign and this effort. We've had a campaign that we've been running called For School's Sake, Help Us Feed Our Nation's Kids, where we're asking folks to raise their hand, to do hashtag For School's Sake. I'd love for more folks to raise their hand with us to support kids.
Look, our celebrity endorser here.
Hi.
Mr. Chris Cuomo.
I'm winded just coming up the stairs.
I was saying good things about you. Don't tell anybody.
A lot of people are asking about, they say you're, so Chris, tell us about you've known Alexis for a very long time. She's doing incredible work here with Gen Youth, raising millions of dollars for children who need to be fed, who need nutrition during this no school period of time of quarantine.
I have known Alexis since I guess I was 30, she was like 16 at the time. She has checked just about every box of success that you can have. She's got an amazing family, amazing husband, great kids. She made it to the top of the network news echelon, which is a big deal. And she then helped build a media organization as an anchor and an executive. That's almost unheard of. I asked her to come and work with me when I was going to do the morning show. She said no, because it wasn't a good enough chance of success. And she has now left the media and went into actually doing things that help society as opposed to just talking to people who do them with Gen Youth. And now obviously making the pandemic a situation of public awareness about food. I think Alexis was one of the first people to remind people that just because schools are closed for school doesn't mean that they're closed overall, and that the need is really great. And I am proud of her as a friend, and to see what she's doing to make such a difference for the people who need it the most at a time of national desperation is not just a real need, but is a real act of hope in the future by her. So I love her and I believe in her. And I'm happy that the missus is involved now, Christina, with Alexis, because it's two very strong people who care about the right things coming together. I love you very much. I got to go into the city.
He's going to do his job. But Alexis has been on Cuomo Primetime a few times now talking about this from the very get-go. And fortunately, since Gen Youth has been around a decade, you immediately pivoted into this position of creating this COVID awareness. You can go now. You can go now. Bye,
Thank
Chris.
you. Thank you, Chris. I'll see you later.
A lot of people are having trouble with the postal code. A lot of people in Canada texting about having trouble typing in it won't take, they're asking for a zip code. It won't take a postal code. What are your suggestions?
So, my suggestion is if they're having an issue in Canada, then just go to our website, which is genyouthnow.org. And if you go to genyouthnow.org,
I think it was on the website they were having trouble.
Oh, on the website. Really? Okay. Well,
I think where you ask for a zip code, they said that they in Canada they have a postal code, which is different.
Okay. So you know what? Just do me a favor with
email you.
Yeah. Do you mind?
Yeah. Can you repeat your email again? I'm going to put it up here.
I would. So anyone who would do that, I'd be so grateful. So it's alexis.glick, G-L-I-C-K, @genyouthnow.org. And that would be great if they could email me, and then I'll figure out how we overcome that. It's the first time I'm actually hearing of that being an issue. So super appreciative of that. That'd be great.
And then the other option is to donate $15 to.
Yes, so they can
via phone.
Exactly. They can go on your phone and just dial 20222 as though you're texting to that number 20222 and just type in the word schools, and that will be a one-time $15 donation. And the only thing you have to do is just once you get back the text message confirming it, that you do in fact confirm the $15 donation, and that would be huge. Wonderful.
And the website one more time.
And the website is genyouthnow.org. So it's GENYOUTHNOW.org.
Now this is going to be up for 24 hours. So I just want to go back to the schools a little bit and how important this is. Every single penny counts. One person donates $15, they're feeding a child. It matters. It's so important right now. The numbers are increasing. You said 1 in 4 kids are food insecure right now, when the number used to be 1 in 6, and that number will probably change over the course of the summer as unemployment rates continue to soar. You're not just feeding kids, you're feeding their families too. And there's really no limit to all the amazing things that Gen Youth is doing right now.
Well, I mean, I'll just say, Christina, look, we have a 10-year legacy in which we've been working in school buildings across the United States. And I've just never seen anything like this in my career. I'm a bit in awe of not just the degree of need, but the degree of urgent need. It's like anything I've ever witnessed in my career. And so it's been incredibly sobering, but the examples of hope, the examples of just selfless actions. And I keep saying to folks, kindness goes a long way. And right now, the biggest thing for us about launching this COVID-19 Emergency School Nutrition Fund and trying to get corporations and foundations and athletes and celebrities behind it is to show kids that we care, that we want to give them hope, that they're not alone. That's my biggest thing at moments like this. I said to someone today that Giving Tuesday now is about it's about a ray of hope in a cloudy moment. And for kids, you don't ever want a kid to think we're not there for you, or a parent who's trying to feed a hungry child. So
no child should go hungry.
No child should live with that, and no parent or caregiver should live with the notion that they don't know where they're going to get their next meal. We need to not only tell them, hey, school buildings, ground zero, we have your back. You're going to be okay. We're going to feed you in school buildings. But number 2, make sure that we get those school buildings, those frontline workers, the resources that they need. And then number 3, that we continue to talk about this. That's my biggest thing, Christina, is that I just think sometimes we gloss over what's really happening when the reality is we lived in a country prior to this where 30 million kids before this happened daily. And now that number, as we just referenced, is continuing to grow. So we have not just a massive deficit right now, but imagine the strain on our public schools is going to be like nothing we have ever experienced in our lifetime. This is unprecedented in American history. This kind of need, the role that school buildings are going to play, it's truly unprecedented territory.
And as the economy keeps going down, how do you suggest people who think that their contribution or their volunteering or their effort doesn't matter, how do you suggest they get involved? And I mean, like I said before, every penny counts right now, and the numbers are only going to go up in terms of need while the economy is going down. So what are your suggestions?
Okay, so first of all, number one, every little thing you can do makes a difference. It's Christina, I remember last Thursday night when I got off with Chris and you said, Alexis, I'm going to have you on IG Live with me next week. And I said, okay, great. And you said, how about next Tuesday? And I said, that's Giving Tuesday. Yes. So let me just say something, okay? Because I want people to know this. It doesn't matter if it's $5, $10, or if it's your time, talent, and treasure. It doesn't matter what it is. Every little bit makes a difference. Whether it's you volunteer, whether it's you help one family in need in your community, whether you can text to donate. Right now, we are in this together. The beauty of what I'm witnessing is the greatest humanity, the hope that when we work together, we can make a difference. And so to me, my answer is yes, if folks can give, I want to help those frontline workers with the resources that they need. But if the way you can give right now is by emailing me and saying, Alexis, you know what? I know the CEO of Procter & Gamble, or you know what? I work with Oprah, or you know what? I know the local insurance company in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm going to get them on the phone with you. Because what I'll tell you, Christina, is when I look at the applications from school buildings that I have, as I said to you, over 11,000 schools have requested grants. The likelihood is that's going to double and triple in the next couple of months at a minimum. Right now, there's virtually no zip code in the nation where I have not received a grant request. So even if it's, let's just say, a company in a local community, I just got off the phone with someone who said, the most important communities to us are in the Tampa Bay area. I went back to my team and I said, could you do a quick search for me on Hillsborough, Pasco County, a handful of the areas in Tampa Bay? They came back, it was 479 grant applications in that Tampa Bay area. Someone just said to me, what about Miami-Dade? I said, I've got a minimum of $150,000 in request just from one area of Miami-Dade. So it's every zip code in the nation.
And the numbers are just going up.
The numbers are growing up.
And what about the teachers? Apparently, with all the school district cuts, the major school cuts, what will happen to the teachers? They're going to be out of work, and how does this affect them? And will you be able to extend your program to the teachers?
So here's the issue, because you're spot on. One of the things that the $3,000 per school building that we're giving them, there are basically 6 categories, Christina.
And how far does that get them? If you give each school?
So if we give them up to $3,000, we're allowing them to apply for up to $3,000 per school building. And what that $6,000 does is there's essentially 6 categories that they apply into us for. For example, the top leading category right now is for transportation and meal delivery. The second one right now is for sanitary. So in other words, how to make sure that it's a safe meal. Then one of the other top contenders right now is, as I mentioned to you, is equipment for the delivery of those meals. So think about this for just a second. We could have all this food delivered into a school environment, into a cafeteria. When you take it out, what about the perishables? What about those fruits? What about those vegetables? What about the yogurt? What about the milk? You've got to make sure it's refrigerated when it's taken out of the school building. That's why things like these cooler bags matter. So if we go back for a second to what we were saying about the $3,000, The thing is, one of the other categories we have allowed school buildings to apply to us for are stipends. So of that $3,000, some school buildings, I think it's 12% is this latest statistic on the national level, are using that as stipends for volunteers or for teachers that they've asked to come into the school building to focus purely on feeding. So that they may be teaching at a different part of the day, or maybe someone who has a different job, or maybe someone who's out of work. And, could we give a little stipend to someone who can show up to help deliver those meals? Now, let's go back to what you said earlier, Christina, about what's going to happen to educators. Right now, the costs that I'm talking about are costs that are not covered. Okay, so food and meal programs, they're protected by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. There are state, of course, and local funds that come from the Department of Education for certain things. But
why doesn't that cover the entire meal program?
Oh my, please, you're preaching to the choir. Okay. I mean, I have lobbed in, several dozen phone calls into the administration. We were one of the first with the Obama administration, with the First Lady and President Obama. We were one of the ones who launched Let's Move, and we brought that to school buildings across the United States. So we have known, we've worked in 2 administrations. We know that equipment is a vital resource that's needed for school buildings. And normally, in a normal circumstance, USDA, the agricultural department, which oversees school meals, does normally appropriate a certain amount of dollars each year to school buildings for that equipment. But let's be real. This is an unusual time, number one. Number two, appropriations have not occurred. And number three, just think about the level of requests right now on school buildings is like nothing we have seen before. So no matter what dollars they had been appropriated in the past, they've never had to use equipment like this to change meals to outside the school building. Now, teachers, let's go back to that for a second. Because costs are escalating and the burden on schools is rising so much, school staff right now, they're already having budget discussions for the next school year, talking about how are we going to cut our budgets by 20%. I mean,
Oh boy.
It's going to have a huge impact on their ability to hire, retain, support. So for us, people say to me sometimes, they go, Alexis, it's great that you've been able to support, $5-6 million in grants and in-kind resources to school buildings, but you have a $25 million deficit. Do you want to close your COVID-19 emergency school nutrition fund down? And I said, no, under no circumstances am I going to close that fund. And you know what? If that fund is $100 million in 2 months, you know what, Christina? I'm still going to get on TV. I'm still going to sit here with you, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I alert every single person I know, whether they be a corporation, a foundation, a government partner, or an individual, to say, we must get these resources to them. Whatever it takes, I will not stop until we make it happen.
So Becca is asking, she says she's a CASA volunteer for youth and foster care. Can foster families also benefit from your program since they get money already? If those kids are in that school, then yes, right?
Yes. So the way it works is that the grant goes to the school building. So they have to have, I think what's called is an EIN number, which is basically connected with the federal government. They have to be a participant of the National School Lunch Program. And then we have been earmarking which schools get grants. It's very hard, of course, because as I said, we have over 11,000 grant requests right now, but we do it based on the degree of need, as in what percentage of those kids are what we call free or reduced meal eligible. And those foster kids in those communities are ones who qualify for free meals. So the likelihood is that that school building where they are foster care students, where they attend to that school building, we are providing them need or support. The thing I'll just add, Christina, is that in some school districts, like the superintendent of Miami-Dade, Alberto Carvalho, is one of my closest friends. He's one of the most recognized superintendents in the United States. When Seattle first went shelter in place, and it was about a week later that many states were deciding whether to close or not, I texted Alberto right away and I said, let's get on the phone, let's talk. It was a Saturday before they were deciding what to do with the schools in Miami-Dade. I said, Alberto, what are you going to do? He's got 320 school buildings, Christina,
Wow.
and he's got 300,000 kids.
It's in
and
Miami.
One of the highest free and reduced populations in the nation. I said, talk to me. What do you need? I want to understand very quickly. Help me. And he said, Alexis, you've been doing grab and go models with us since we've been working together for 5 years. The grab and go breakfast carts, for example, that you've been giving our school districts across the country, and particularly here in Miami-Dade, I'm going to take your grab and go breakfast carts. I'm going to put them outside. I'm going to put the meals on the carts. We're going to consistently replenish them. And that's how we're going to serve our meals. I said, okay, well, how are you going to staff them? You've got teachers who are going to do distance learning,
Volunteers.
And you know what he said to me? So this is one example of one school district across the nation. In week 1, when we were in shelter in place, 320 of his school buildings remained open to feed those families. When he returned back, a couple weeks later, they had a spring break in the middle of it, which they could not shut down. But when they returned back, what did they do? They converted their 320 school buildings into 50 feeding sites at school buildings. Think about it for a second. 320 buildings to 50 feeding sites. Now, imagine, like I said to you earlier, if an average site is doing 1,561 meals in a school,
wow, yeah.
not in Miami-Dade, not in Miami-Dade. What he is doing is simply remarkable. And partly what I'm working with him on is not just getting him the equipment and the resources, for example, but sometimes I'm talking to either a large QSR company or a partner who I say, hey, would you guys be willing to pick up 1 meal a week in Miami-Dade to help support them? And so what we've been doing is both trying to get the cash resources to them for them to buy the equipment. We've tried to be a matchmaker to match companies who have resources that are available to them to get them on the ground. So let me give you one other quick example. I was on with your husband, and one of the calls, this is great, my daughter's knocking on the door outside.
Oh, believe me, I have no door. I have no door here, so they just come and go. But by the way, let's just remind everybody that this is a national program. So the donations that you're giving today, you can text to 20222 and type in the word school. You will be donating $15, and when prompted, you must reply. Or you can go to genyouthnow.org and make a larger donation, which is, of course, appreciative. But someone was asking, how short are you in budgets? You're always going to be short in budgets, as long as the administration can't cover. Daughter's getting, whoops, there's an old footprint. My daughter's getting lots of FaceTime calls because this is how they socialize at the age of 10. I get hard calls on my phone and they interrupt all my live videos. It's a nightmare, but I've got to monitor her. So you're always going to be in need of funds. There is no end to this in sight. So now you have to ramp up more than ever, because not only as the administration cuts their budgets, there's going to be a big job loss for these teachers. And as unemployment goes up, there's going to be even more families in need. And they're not putting any more money towards this meal program. So what Alexis is doing is essential. I mean, it's essential to survival right now. And we have to be able to feed everyone in this country right now. So back to your point and your other example that you were just giving us. I just want to remind everybody about the donations, because that is really important.
And I'm so happy that you shared that, Christina, because I think folks right now, a lot of folks are figuring out, like, when am I going to get back to normal life? When are we going to be able to go back outside? And the scary thing that I worry about is that there will be a moment in time that we'll live this new normal and we'll get back to life as we know it. But school buildings will never be the same. And what we're seeing right now, this is going to take years and years to work through. You know that when I'm not helping kids, that I'm an economist at heart. Really, the reason I join your husband half the time is just economy and what happening on the intersection of the political environment. I was telling Chris the other night that coming out of the Great Recession, from literally December of '06, if you look at it, to I think it was the summer, I'm sorry, it was December of '07 to the summer of '09, we had lost 9 million jobs during the Great Recession. But from the summer of 2009 until this past March, we created 22.5 million jobs over a 10-year time frame. Christina, we've lost 30 million jobs in 5 weeks. And that's underestimating the number of jobs. There's probably another 10 million that's unaccounted for. So when you think about what we're going to do to feed kids today, when people get back to normal and can go back outside, the new normal for tens of millions of families is that without that school meal, they're going to go hungry. So the school building is their lifeline. It's ground zero.
And by the way, it's one thing to raise money. It's another thing to see it in action. And you are literally putting that money to work in real time. So people have to realize that 100% of what you're raising is going into the mouths of babes.
To the school building.
And
directly to the school building.
Please look at the pinned that my text that I pinned below. It gives you Alexis's email, the website address, and also a way to text a $15 donation, because every penny is counting towards feeding 30 million children. Is that correct?
30 million kids really. There we are. Sorry. 30 million kids rely on those school meals daily. And Christina, now, as you and I talked about before, it is millions more. And as I said to you earlier, anyone who wants to email me, it's alexis.glick@genyouthnow.org. I would be thrilled to have a conversation with anyone. What I need is just all these brilliant, beautiful minds who care so much, who love you so much, Christina, who just want to figure out a way to help. And to me right now, it could be that it's a Zoom, it's a phone call, it's a connection, it's a relationship. It could be the $15 text to donate. It's just about how do we get more attention into school buildings in every zip code in this nation who need it. And they need it now, and they're going to need it in the days, months, and years ahead.
So we only have a few minutes left because we've been on for an hour. And Alexis, thank you so much. I want to remind everyone that if someone wants to send me a message because they want this video, this live video, to repost it on their Instagram, it will stay up for 24 hours on my Instagram, and it will be live for, well, the live video will be up for 24 hours, and I can send it to you so you can screenshot it, you can post about it. Please share it with your friends. This is so. There's another call again. Okay, big apologies, everyone.
Oh, are you there? Okay, good.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries, no worries. Well, Christina, I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and for everyone who has listened, participated, who has texted us or emailed us. I just, I'm touched, I'm moved. I just know that every little bit is going to make a difference. And it just gives me so much hope. It's like the sunlight streaming in here. It's like, let's give our kids, let's give our frontline workers in school buildings a little bit of sunlight. It's too many cloudy skies, and they just need to know that we're there for them. And Christina, I want you to know something. I'm hosting a big event on May 29th and 30th, a 24-hour streamathon. And I want you, it's going to be celebrities, it's going to be athletes, it's going to be everywhere.
Oh, that's great.
I need you to be a part of it because you're a superstar, and I love you so much for doing this.
Just to remind everyone, $15 donation today goes such a long way. You text 20222 and you type in the word schools. And then when prompted, just reply to the text that you will receive back. Or you can go to the website, genyouthnow.org, and make a more substantial donation. And keep in mind, Alexis is making herself available to you to discuss any issues you might have had going on, to make a donation. Or if you wanted more information about Gen Youth, Or if you want to find information about volunteering, which you mentioned earlier, is something you can go to your local district, your community schools, and find out if you want to participate in their food delivery programs, right?
Exactly, exactly. Because it's all about, we're thinking global, we're acting locally. At the end of the day, we're all facing a global pandemic. It's not choosing any one of us, it's choosing all of us. But the way to really get involved is right in your backyard, in your community. And I often say, as I say to kids, as I travel across the country, I jokingly say to folks that I'm the female version of George Clooney up in the air, constantly flying around. But when I'm in school buildings, I remind people that, you know what, you just don't know what's happening in your backyard.
Yeah, and by the way, this affects everybody who's on the video and who will see this video. It affects your neighborhood schools.
That's
You
right.
are donating, you are contributing to every school in the nation, correct?
That is absolutely right. Every school building who participates in the National School Lunch Program, which is 98,000 U.S. public schools, any one of them can apply to us for these grants right now. So as I said to you, we have over 11,000 schools that have applied already. I expect that number to double and triple in the next couple of weeks and months. And the reality is we've provided, just to give you a sense of who we are, we've provided over $100 million in resources over the past decade to school buildings. This is what we do. We live in the school building. We work with a lot of partners at the government level. Of course, we work with a lot of businesses, but right now the need is greater than anything we've ever experienced. And as we sit here right now, I have a $25 million deficit as we sit here right now. And every day I wake up in the morning and I get a new email with an update on the number of schools that are, have needs, what the list of those needs are. Every single morning I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning with a new update, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. It does not matter what day of the week it is. Schools are desperate. They are ground zero. They're right in your backyard. They're feeding hungry kids. It's where kids go for their meals daily when school is in and when school is out. And those school buildings are not going to shut down at the end of the school year. They're going to convert into summer feeding sites. They're going to be feeding hungry kids, and we need to get them the resources they need.
And this will continue into the fall. It's not just, it's going to be more than 30 million kids. It's their families you're feeding right now too. People are asking about if they can help you bring this to Canada. That would be interesting. The way to reach Alexis, alexis.glick@genyouthnow.org, or go to the website to make a more substantial donation, genyouthnow.org, or donate $15 right now to 20222 on your phone. You can text this donation and type the word schools in plural, and you will get a prompt, and just reply to that, and your $15 donation is so appreciated. Every kid in America who's out of school right now needs to be fed, and this is an amazing organization, Gen Youth, that you've been running for 10 years now. You pivoted into this pandemic so naturally, and you're helping so many families all over the country, every school and everybody's backyard who's able to follow this video, and hopefully we'll have more people coming over the next 24 hours. So Alexis, thank you so much.
I just want you to know, I love you so much. I wish I could kiss and hug you right now. I'm so thankful to you. And I'm sorry, I just want everyone to know, I'm really not technologically inept, but I'm sorry I was a handful of minutes late. We're having slight technical difficulties with me, but this has just been the most remarkable hour. I can't thank you enough. I thank everyone who's listening, and you just, from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Alexis, and everyone who participated, and all of your wonderful comments of support. Susie, Rust, you've been very vocal in this live video, and we appreciate it so much. And everyone who's asking questions, you can reach out to Alexis directly, and she's there. She wants to hear your comments, and please, please, please donate. One donation, and it feels really good to be able to help kids in need right now. No child should go hungry.
That's right. That's what it's all about, is remember, I say to folks, imagine what it's like when you wake up in the morning and you have an empty belly. And, how well would you be able to function if you didn't have something in your belly, right? And if we want kids to learn on top of it, then we got to give them the nutrition that they need to succeed. We got to fuel them up. And that's truly what it's all about, is fueling them up for success.
Yeah. And we're so lucky to have what we have and to have the time to be able and resources to be able to help right now. So for those of you who can, please do. And thank you, Alexis. You're doing amazing, remarkable things.
Oh, thank you so
Keep
much.
it up.
Thank you.
Bravo.
I love you so much. I'm so, so thankful. You're the best. You're like an angel from my heart. You've made my day so happy. If I were there, I'd be kissing and hugging you, but I know I'm going to be able to do that soon.
Virtual
And-
kisses and hugs.
And we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going because I have you. And
Keep
we're
fighting
gonna,
the good fight.
We're gonna continue to fight it. I love you. Thank you,
Okay.
honey.
Love you too. Thanks again.
Bye, sweetheart.
GenYouthNow.org. Donate. Bye.
Bye.